Hello, everyone. How's it going? Happy Wednesday. I have been in a bubble today with calls, podcast recordings, blog posting, all the things. Actually, I feel like I've been in a bubble this past week, getting a lot of stuff done, really behind the scenes. And I figured, oh my goodness, it's almost 3 o'clock already. I need to come on here. I committed to going live again every week and specifically on Wednesdays. So I did not want to back out of my commitment to myself. And this is not a commitment to others, but a commitment to myself. And I think that that is something really important, actually, that we talk about is that sometimes we do things for others, right? But I think it's really important that we make commitments to ourselves. And when we make commitments to ourselves, that we also stick with them, because it's easy to do something if you commit to someone else to not back out, right? But when you commit to something for yourself, it's a lot easier to back out. So it could have been very easy for me to say, I'm not going to do this. I don't have time to go live. But I really, really wanted to go live because I get a lot of energy and a lot of joy from getting to talk with you guys. And yeah, what I'm going to talk about today is perfectionism. And I want to share with you a little bit about why I have grown my business as quickly as I have. And it's because I've not let perfectionism get in the way. So as you guys can see, I am currently in clothes that I just threw. I literally rolled out of bed this morning and threw on clothes to get the girls out the door. Actually, I lied. My husband did bring the kids to school today because he's working from home, but to help get the girls out the door. So I literally rolled out of bed, threw on clothes, and dove straight into work. If you're there, by the way, please say hello. It's so nice when you guys say hello, so I don't feel like I'm just talking to myself. But this week on the Thinking Like a Boss podcast, if you guys have not yet subscribed, please go subscribe, download episodes, share episodes, leave a review, because this podcast is my baby. Just like my book is my baby, this podcast is my baby. And it's something that maybe a few months ago, I was like, do I really need to still do this? Like, are people really getting value from it? And hi, Breshna, how are you? It has brought me so much joy. I just want to say that if anything, like, the podcast has filled my cup. And the reason why is that each time I have a new guest on, I feel like they're speaking right to me. They're speaking to my soul. And the whole premise of the podcast is to have women come on who have successful businesses to share their story of a limiting belief that really got in the way of their success and how it got in the way, and then also to give you the steps of how they worked through it, because if they hadn't worked through it, they wouldn't be where they are today. So it has been such a gift and such a joy for me to get to connect with these women. Like, it truly is a gift. And again, every time that I do one of these interviews after, like, many times during the interview, I'm just speechless. Like, I'm just like, yeah, like smiling, because I just want to hear more and more. Like, I just want them to talk the whole time. I feel like I'm like, I don't even know why I'm here right now. I guess I'm just asking a few questions, but I just want to hear them talk. And again, it is a gift because each and every time they have a lesson, a takeaway, a piece of wisdom that I specifically needed that day. And today's guest was Shannon Kaiser. She is a best-selling author of multiple books. She's on her 5th book right now, Joy Seeker, which launches on October 29th. She said something today that was just so powerful. And it went to the extent of something like this. I don't really have the quote you'll get the quote in the book when you get the book. But it's basically something along the lines of, when you have the vision, when the vision is there, it means that it's on its way. And that was so powerful, because I believe it because it's happened with so many things in my life. But there are days, like I'll just keep it real. Last night was a hard night. I was just doubting things in my book business, doubting things with my book and with my launch. But not in a way that like I don't believe it. Just like, is this really gonna work? And I'm just saying that just to be transparent because for many people, you think, once you get to this place, or once you get to that place, like you're never going to have those beliefs again. But guys, they don't ever go away. They go away for a while when you work on them, right? And they go away to the extent where you can not survive, but you can move on, right? So I've had many limiting beliefs. And I have not allowed them to get in the way of me moving to the next place in my life and business. Yeah. But when I know that they become an issue, then that's when I have to go work on them again. And they will always resurface. Like I wish that there was a way that when there's a limiting belief, we could learn a skill, practice something, and they're gone forever. But that's not true. And I want you to know that when you do experience them, it just means that you're up leveling. It means that you are moving to a different place in your life, moving to a different place in your business that is uncomfortable because it's new, because you're not sitting still. And if you're sitting still, or if you're not experiencing them, I should say, most likely it means that you're comfortable. And I know that some of you want to live comfortably, but I know for me and some of my lady boss friends, you know that comfortable is not a great place to be. You always want to be striving to grow, to develop, to challenge yourself to be the best version of yourself. So anyways, where am I going with this? So perfectionism. So this is the whole gist of the podcast recording this week. This week we had a guest named Michelle Knight. Awesome guest. Go and check her out. And she talked about her struggle with perfectionism. And I can remember, I think again, we forget sometimes that when we have been out of something for a while, we forget that it was once an issue. And we forget how hard it was for ourselves. And doing this, like sitting here and just chatting with you guys, like this would have given me so much anxiety 4 years ago. I could not have even imagined myself doing this. Like I would look at people doing back then Periscope. I don't know if you guys remember Periscope or filming YouTube videos and just wondering like, how do they do it? Like I would never be able to do that. They must be reading from a script. They must have memorized things. Like how can you just get on and just talk? Hi. Used to boggle my mind. I'm like, there's no way I could ever do that. Like, do I want to do that? Yes, but there's no way. Like, it's got to be hard. And I don't think that I'm cut out to do that. And what I learned was you got to just show up. You have to show up imperfectly. And the first YouTube video that I ever recorded, it's hilarious. I kept it up on YouTube because it's such a humble reminder for me to look back and to see where I was and like how anxious I was. Like you'll go on there and I think I actually have on like a sport coat with like a lot of jewelry and like my hair done, makeup on. And if you guys know me, like I love to get dressed up and I love to have my hair done. I love to have makeup done. I love to look nice, but it's usually just to like go to an event. In the everyday, you will not catch me with makeup or heels or fancy clothes on or anything. You will catch me like this, just as comfortable as can be. And that was me back then too. But on my first YouTube video, I'm almost positive I had a sport coat on, makeup, hair done, and I thought it had to be a certain way. I remember I had Post-its all over my laptop screen because I didn't want to forget anything. I wanted to make sure I said all the right things. And what happened? Katie! Oh my goodness! How are you? Oh my goodness. Katie was one of my really close friends in high school. And she is an actress. Gosh, I wish that I was naturally an actress and could memorize and feel comfortable in the spotlight. But again, guys, I have worked and done little by little to feel comfortable in front of a camera. And where was I going with that? Yeah, back then I thought it had to be a certain way. And again, I showed up, I had everything planned out, everything laid out, and even to the extent that I went to the dog store or the pet store, whatever you call it, and I got Turbo new bones and new toys to keep him busy because I didn't want him to bark in the background. I was so afraid that it would look and sound unprofessional if my dog barked in the background. And you guys now, like things are crazy here all the time. Turbo's at daycare today, so that's why it's quiet. But anyways, I gave him these treats. I gave him these toys to keep him quiet. And I think there were like a few times actually that he started to make, oops. Sorry guys, somebody started calling me. I think there was a few times where he started to make noise and I like started the recording over. But anyways, I had gotten like halfway through this recording and, oh, thank you so much. Got halfway through this recording and all of a sudden I hear him in the background choking. He had torn one of the toys apart. He started choking on the toy. And then he starts throwing up. And again, this is on, like you can't see everything, but you can hear it in the background. I'm like, Turbo! I decided to publish that because it was my place of beginning. It was the place that I started. And I am so grateful today, 4 years later, for that scared yet brave girl who still decided to keep on going. And I would not be in this place of feeling comfortable in front of a camera if I had been stuck in my perfectionism. Guys, I am a recovering perfectionist. I do not need things perfect anymore at all. Like I'm almost maybe on the opposite side. Like maybe I should be a little bit more. I should care a little bit more. But I've just gotten to the place of like, here's the thing. If you keep waiting for the right time, waiting to feel ready, waiting to have the right clothes on, waiting to have the makeup on, waiting to have the right things to say, like you're going to wait forever. Like it's never going to happen. So I just want to encourage you today, wherever you are, just to get started, just to show up exactly as you are. All right. And if you're there, please say hello. So one of my tips for you guys for perfectionism is many times we are, and I write about this in the book actually, we are presented with different opportunities. And these are opportunities that we would love to say yes to. Like these could be dream opportunities, but we're like, no, we're not ready yet. Totally not ready yet. And I'm going to actually share recently, I was presented with an opportunity where I was like, like, do they actually know who they're reaching out to? Like, I am not what they think I am. But heck with it. All right, sure. I'll do it. I'll try out for whatever it is that you're looking for. And maybe someday this thing will come to fruition and I'll be able to share with you guys what it is. And if it doesn't come to fruition, I will also share with you guys what it is because it's pretty hilarious actually. But right now I'm not ready to share yet. But anyways, I said, all right, like I am not these things, but sure, if you think that I'm qualified or capable to do it, all right, I'll give it a shot, right? And got to the next level and then the next step and the next step. And now I'm like, all right, I guess we'll figure it out. If it happens, great. If it doesn't, then that's fine too. So what I want to say to you is that don't wait till you're ready, okay? Again, if I waited till I was ready to start doing videos, to start coaching, to open my businesses that I've opened, I would not have done them. Like I would still be at my 9 to 5 right now because I was never ready. And I'm still not ready for the next things, right? Like I'm not ready to launch a book. I'm not ready to do a book tour. I'm not ready for all of that. But it's okay because I'm committing. I'm saying yes So this is my tip for you, is that if it's something that you really do want and it scares you and you're not sure if you're prepared or ready for it, still just say yes. Say yes and figure it out after, okay? And don't try to figure it all out today. Figure it out the closer that you get to the thing. So what I typically do is if I'm asked to do something that's like really, there's like dog fur everywhere, guys. That makes me really nervous, but I know I want to do it. So I was asked to speak on a panel for a leadership conference back last spring, and I so wanted to do it. And I actually said to the person who asked, I said, I really want to do this, but I'm so scared. But I'm going to say yes anyway, because I know it's something that I want to do. So that was probably like 2 months prior to it. So what I told myself is I'm not going to think about this until a few weeks before. And for some of you, you might be like, what? Are you crazy? If you have 2 months notice, you should be preparing for it ahead of time. You should be like psyching yourself up and getting yourself ready and practicing. But I know for me, that will give me more anxiety. And for many people, it will give you more anxiety. So what I like to say is figure it out right beforehand. Like, yes, you want to give yourself a little bit of time so that there's some margin for if something big were to come up in your life and you need extra time to plan. But I didn't start thinking about it probably until 3 weeks before. And then let's get real, I didn't start planning until probably the week before. I didn't type up my notes and what I wanted to say until a couple days before. And it went exactly as I had hoped it would go. And there will always be, you will always look back and say, like, I wish that I had said this, or I wish that I didn't say this, or X, Y, and Z. But no matter how prepared you are, you will always judge yourself. And no one is going to know. No one's going to know that you didn't say, hi, Candace, how are you? So good to see you. Candace was one of the students in my Let's Go From Invisible to Impactful course a while back. And I think we did some one-to-one coaching together too. It's been a while though. It's been 3 years. Oh my goodness, time flies. So again, just show up and figure it out. That is my tip for you today. If you're struggling with perfectionism, know you will never be ready. The time will never be perfect. You will never have more time. I always say, today is the most time in your schedule that you will ever have. And this has been true. I've doubted myself saying this in the past. I used to doubt myself saying it. Like, I used to want to believe this. Like, today's the most time I will ever have in my schedule, so I might as well get started today. And I've always said, all right, I believe that, but maybe I really will have more time in the future. Guys, you don't. Let me say that. You don't. This has been true to me the last several years of my life. Hey, how are you? Is that Derek? I'm like, I think it might be. I just want to ask, can you suggest some home workouts for mind relaxation? So if it's exercise, I'm not your girl. I am not good at exercising, but for your mind to relax. So for many people, doing something like meditation, deep breathing, sitting in silence, like that can really help your mind relax. But I will say for someone like me, the only way for my mind to relax, it's not always to unplug, but for me, it's to like get out a journal and to take notes and to just do a big brain dump. That is something that helps me get everything out of my mind and release it onto paper. And then say, like, I'm going to surrender that. I'm going to release it. I'm not going to think about it. It's now on paper, so it no longer has to take up space in my mind. And after I've done something like that, I usually feel relaxed right away. And then I'll do something like maybe read a book. But in terms of like other meditations, like there are some guided meditations that you can listen to. Some people are really good at getting into them. I will be honest again, my mind will wander. Like I've been able to do them in the past, but Um, Today, I'm not as able to do them anymore. So for me, something that really helps release and relax my mind is just doing a big brain dump and writing everything down and saying, I'm releasing this information from my mind and I'm putting it onto the paper. And now the paper is in charge of what's going to happen with it. And that's it. So I hope that's helpful. Um, so yeah, I want to point you guys in the direction of the podcast, Thinking Like a Boss podcast. Please go subscribe, leave a review, share it. It means so much to me. I appreciate it because the more that we can get this podcast into the hands of other women, the bigger of an impact it's going to make. And I just feel like this message is going to be spread to so many people. And like anything, guys, like everything happens little by little. Even the podcast, it was a labor of love, something I started so imperfectly. And if I had waited to feel ready or to feel like things were in order, I would have never started. And the reason why it's been successful and has really made an impact and a difference on people's lives is because I just started it with what I had. And I didn't have fancy equipment and I still don't use fancy equipment. I will be honest, I have a really nice microphone, a Blue Yeti, and I have never used it. Okay. For some reason, like, yes, I could set it up and use it, but it feels just really comfortable and easy for me to throw on my Apple headphones and to record from here, or to record the intros and the outros and all of the stuff in between, the announcements on my phone. I just literally do it on my phone. And if I had waited, because I get very overwhelmed by technology, if I had waited to have my microphone a perfect way, or if I had set that expectation for myself that like sound quality has to be exact every single episode, my episodes would not be out there. Like the only way I've been able to release them into the world in crazy seasons of mine has been imperfectly. There are some episodes where I'm literally nursing Charlie, because if I hadn't nursed her, she would have been screaming. There are some episodes where I didn't have childcare and all I could do to keep her calm was drive her around in the car and let her fall asleep in the car. So I'm recording them in the car. There are a few episodes where I'm also in the car with the baby because I had no childcare, and it was a season where my husband was opening his eatery and I needed to go help out, and I couldn't cancel my podcast appointments. So I still just did them in the car. And I'm literally like shaking baby rattles and baby toys to try to keep her calm. But again, it's not about things being perfect. It's about sharing the message even among the messiness. So that's my message for you today, guys. Love you. Yes, Candace, technology is not my friend, but it's okay because we don't have to be perfect at everything. So I like to remember that. But so great to spend this time with you guys today. Keep in touch and please share this with someone who you feel needs it. And I will see you next Wednesday.